A factor that can jeopardize the growth of English is the economy. The economic factor can force a country to reduce its investment in the English language. In this module, we'll discuss how the economic argument can be used to determine a country's preference for a language. There are many countries which do not want to be a part of global economy, and they prefer operating on a regional level. They show a preference for the strengthening of regional economy, or they want to operate on within a region, is because they see more benefits in regional economy for their own country. So these countries have no desire to be a part of this growing global economy. They know that investing in the regional economy will be more beneficial for the development of their own country's economy, and therefore they show more interest in promoting a regional lingua franca. For example, if some businessmen were to start a business, some trade between India and Pakistan, their preference will probably be the use of Urdu or Hindi as it is called in India, rather than learning English or using English for communication. So in such a case, a country might want to operate on a regional level and therefore show a preference for a regional lingua franca rather than English. Like I've just said, it is because the country might see more immediate benefits of using a language established in the region. So the immediate benefits surpass the long-term benefits of knowing English. The long-term benefits which might come much later when the country is able to expand its economy and operate on an international level. So they show a preference for a regional lingua franca to operate regionally rather than a preference for English to operate internationally. Countries which may show a preference for operating regionally include many countries in Latin America where Spanish is used as a lingua franca. Similarly, in many Northern African countries, Arabic is a common language. Similarly, Russia is a common language in many Central Asian states, just as Hindi or Urdu is in South Asia. So in these countries, one of the regional common languages can be used for the purpose of communication among different countries. When there is a need for mutual intelligibility and a need to assert one's identity, the result is always a conflict. For example, you might have a need for intelligibility to speak a language which makes you intelligible to people of the other countries, which makes it possible for you to communicate with people of the other countries, but you learn a language or use a language for the purpose of intelligibility at the cost of your own identity. So if you use another language, you have to in some ways give up your own identity. So there's this a pull in opposite directions between intelligibility and identity. And of course, if you want to operate on an international level economically, you need to be intelligible, and this may come with a cost of losing your identity. So far, we see that there have been fewer rejections of English by major countries. As we discussed earlier as well, that so far the rejection of English has come from smaller countries, which has not affected its status as a global language. The global status of English will be affected when it faces this kind of rejection by a major country. We see a close link between language and power. If a language which is used by a powerful country is, for example, what I'm trying to say is the language which is used by a powerful country automatically becomes a powerful language and becomes a sought after language. For example, Latin in olden days and English in the present day. So there is a very strong link between language and power. The most powerful country in the world today is the USA. So we see a strong link between the USA, between the development or the status of USA and the status of English in the world today. USA has been at the helm of all the major developments in the 20th century in terms of industry, technology, and to some extent even cultural developments. So the most developed country in the world owns English language, and therefore the benefits of being owned by the most powerful country are enjoyed by the English language as well. So in this way, the USA has played a very important role in empowering English, in giving English the power that it enjoys today. Having said that, we must understand that the future of English, therefore, is closely linked with the future of the USA. So if by any chance, due to any reason, the USA loses its status as a global or as the most powerful country in the world, the English language is also likely to lose its status. So the link between the status of English and the status of America is very strong. What we now hear of sometimes is that there are some threats to the USA's internal unity, and these threats come from the large number of immigrants that the USA houses. This increasing immigration has also increased the population of the USA. Now, the population of the USA is not majority English, although it is still majority English, but it's not only English. We have a large number of people who have some other language as their mother tongue. So there's a growing need for mutual intelligibility in America. And English is seen as a uniting force among these different groups of people. And English is seen as a tool which keeps people who come from different cultures, who speak different languages. So English serves the purpose of keeping all these people united.